Hey my friends, this is Daniel Aldie, and today I want to talk with you about 5 things that rich people do to become richer. If you do these 5 things, I guarantee you that you will put more money in your bank account, but also help other people along the way. So listen up. The first thing is overtime. Rich people work overtime. Now I'm not talking about overtime in the customary sense where you work more than 40 hours and your employer pays you time and a half. What I'm talking about is rich people actually use their extra time to become better for themselves and for whatever project they may be working on. In other words, they work harder on themselves than they do on their job. They don't just necessarily work those 40 hours and then relax and coast. They take the hours after 40 very seriously. They're working on their side business. They're working on a project. They're working on something that can build their wealth and prosperity in the long term. Remember, if you do more than you're paid to do, you'll get paid more than you do. It's the hours that you're not paid that will pay you the most. And so you have to go the extra mile and do whatever it takes to learn and grow and develop yourself and whatever else that you're working on to grow your wealth. Let me give you a quick example. John and Peter, they both work in the same company. They both earn the same amount of money. They both have similar lifestyles. But John, after work, doesn't really do that much. He sits around, he relaxes, he's all about his vacations and his family time. But Peter, on the other time, he's still a family man, but he knows he has to work on his business. He knows he has to work on himself. After 10 years, who do you think is going to go further, John or Peter? You already know the answer. The second thing that rich people do to become even richer is that they delay gratification. Now I know we hear this all the time, but really, when you look at rich people and you study them, you'll understand that they actually ask themselves tough questions. They don't buy things emotionally, they buy things logically. They ask themselves, do I really need this couch right now? Do I really need to buy a new car? Do I really need to spend my money on this item today? They look at everything and they take inventory and really ask tough questions before they make a purchasing decision. They also substitute what they spend their money on, especially in the beginning stages. They ask themselves, is it really worth spending $1,000 on this couch? Or should I spend $1,000 for building a new library in my house? They really consider their options and they think about what's going to pay them off in the long term. Now I'm not saying that rich people don't have fun. They absolutely do. But they understand that it's more profitable to spend time in their library than it is to sit on their couch during their reading time. The third thing rich people do differently is that they serve others. Now I'm not saying that poor people don't serve others, but rich people actually go out of their way to serve others. They put other people first instead of putting themselves first because they understand that they have a bigger purpose than just serving themselves. They really want to serve others. I'll give you a clear example of when I was hanging out with my wife on one of our date nights. We had just gotten done with the dinner and we're in a pretty big city, so there was a nice shopping center, and I asked her, do you want to go shopping? She pulled me over to the corner and she said, Daniel, look, our stomachs are full and so are our closets. I think we really need to buy some hamburgers nearby and pass it out to the people who really need it. That day really changed the way I saw philanthropy. I saw that she wanted to serve others, which gave me more initiative to serve others as well. Now I'll be the first to tell you that shopping is fun, extremely fun. But dedicating yourself to a life of serving others, giving back to the community, is even a more worthwhile experience. The fourth thing that rich people do differently is that they confront ego. One person told me that ego stands for edging God out, and I found that to be exactly true. The reason why I'm saying this is that when someone has a high ego, they have low humility. I'm always reminded of this scripture, that those who honor themselves will be humbled, but those who humble themselves will be honored. Let me tell you a story about a scientist who had a really big discovery. He wanted to show off in front of all the people, and he knew that this was the thing that would make the highlight of his career. Now this event was huge, and thousands of people were there. His colleagues, his friends, even his family, everyone he respected. He knew he was going to do extremely well because he had the knowledge, he had the skill, he did the research, and of course he made the discovery. This was the time he was going to have for himself. Finally, the event was here, and he was excited and delighted to give the speech. He was sitting in the front, and the introducer called him upstage. As he made his way up to the podium, He stood up and he looked at everyone. All of a sudden, his mind sat back down and he couldn't utter a word. He forgot everything he was about to say. After a couple seconds, he said, "Look guys, I have to take a seat." And he walked back down the stage. A little while later, one of his colleagues put his arms around his shoulder and he said, "If you would have went up like you came down, you would have came down like you went up." The scientist was depressed, but after a couple days, he realized that he had to make a change. He had to confront his ego. He had to actually practice his speech. And most of all, he had to respect his colleagues. Fast forward a year later, and the scientist made another discovery. Now he had a bigger opportunity. There was more people. But now he knew he had to practice. Now he knew he had to prepare. Now he knew he had to love his audience. And so now was the time to shine. He went up there and he gave an astounding speech, which followed with a round of applause. Not only was there a thunderous applause, but there was a standing ovation. When you confront your ego, you can make major changes in your life, but you have to learn how to put your pride on the side. You have to learn how to confront yourself, and you have to be selfless in everything you do. The fifth thing that rich people do is that they get their money right. What I'm basically saying is that they understand that their overall success has a lot to do with how much money they actually have in their bank account. This means that they're going to focus on establishing their credit. They're not just going to walk around with the lowest credit score. They're going to focus on how they can build it up and maximize their level of credit. Before they even look at their bank statements, they think about the purchases that they're about to make. They look at the potential fees and they find ways to eradicate any extraneous expense that may be holding them back. They're also tipping people liberally. Not only are they giving just the 15%, they're giving a lot more than that. And they're also making sure that their wallets can carry the bills in perfect order so that they can be willing and able to exchange that money with ease. Rich people are always taking care of their money. That's why they have more of it. Remember guys, if you could take care of the small amount of money you have right now, it will become even bigger. You take care of that, it will become even larger. And you keep taking care of your money. Remember guys, the more you know your money, the more you'll grow your money. My friends, I've given you 5 things that rich people do to become even richer. If there's anything I missed, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My friends, share this video and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you next time.